If you're 8-year-old buddy often reads your messages but doesn't reply, you can compress him into a biscuit. Since most of the human body is made of water, it can't be flattened very well, so you first need to remove the bodily tissues. Then, use a laser to grind the bones into powder, and finally compress everything. Voila, you have a compressed biscuit. If your buddy accidentally revives, you can lay him flat on a wooden plank, pre-covered with sharp iron nails. Slowly pull down the chain, and the plank will squeeze inward, piercing your buddy's body with the nails. He'll feel waves of intense sensation. The more he struggles, the more pleasure he'll experience. If he somehow survives that, just drive a tank and send him straight back to his roots. If your buddy doesn't keep the chat streak going, you can shove a large watermelon into his pig-like mouth. The watermelon will crush his windpipe, then his heart and lungs. By the time it reaches his stomach, there won't be any stomach acid to break it down. Meanwhile, his ribs will slowly snap. To survive, he'll have to vomit the watermelon out. If your buddy still doesn't learn his lesson, make him kneel on a sharp wooden plank, and place a marble on each knee, so the tender flesh of his thighs sinks into the grooves. He'll feel waves of that familiar intense sensation. If he isn't comfortable enough, add a few more stones. He'll thank you with tears and snot streaming down his face. Alternatively, you can throw him into a chicken coop, to live among the chickens. After 41 long years, he'll slowly adopt chicken-like movements, lose the ability to speak, and only chirp like a bird. He'll spend his days fighting hens for food, and poor nutrition will leave him gaunt and bony. When you finally release him as a grown man, his walking posture will be exceptionally stylish. Follow me for the next episode, where we explore what happens if you throw a coin into a plane engine. You absolutely cannot imagine how terrifying bamboo torture is. If your buddy often reads, but ignores your messages, you can lay him on a bed of bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoots can grow up to 100 centimeters per day, and their sharp leaves easily pierce the flesh. As they keep growing, they'll penetrate deeper, piercing ribs and organs. Your buddy will feel bone-chilling waves of sensation. Eventually, a bamboo forest will sprout from his body. If your bestie doesn't compliment your looks, you can put a special iron mask over her head, with spiked metal plates inserted into her mouth, so she can't badmouth you anymore. The mask will fully cover her face. Remember to lock it, so she can't sneak it off. This reward is usually reserved for gossipy friends. Then, be sure to take her shopping, so passers-by can admire her new accessory. Watch closely. This is the number of babies needed to pull a gorilla. This is the number of cats needed to pull a gorilla. This is the number of adults needed to pull a gorilla. This is the number of giraffes needed to pull a gorilla. It takes about 72 babies to pull one. An ice cream truck can be pulled by 36 cats, while 24 pigs can do the job. Finally, just 3 adults are enough to pull it. This is the number of babies needed to pull a T-Rex. If using cats, it would take 4,445. With pigs, only 140 are needed. And with adults, just 140 can pull it. This is how an ant looks falling from a tall building. This is how a cat looks falling. This is how a human looks falling. This is how a bull looks falling. And finally, this is how a giraffe looks falling from a great height. Finally, I know how to win tic-tac-toe. Just don't call me dickhead, and I'll secretly teach you a trick today. First, place your piece in any corner. If your opponent chooses another corner, place yours in the corner opposite your starting move. If your opponent takes the center, place yours in the remaining corner. Now you'll have 2 ways to win. If your opponent starts by taking the center, just give them a German sticky grenade. And do you know how to spin a basketball on your finger? Place the ball on your palm, toss it into the air, then extend your mighty middle finger. The ball will spin rapidly on it. Finally, I understand how to win rock, paper, scissors. Most people play this game randomly, but if you start with scissors, your chances of winning are actually lower. Statistics show that girls tend to choose scissors more often, because it's a common gesture. So how do you boost your win rate? The secret is to start with rock. This increases your win rate by 35%. If your opponent starts with paper, just send them back to their roots with a 720 spinning kick. If you're very introverted, how can you overcome it? Call a stranger and imagine they're a pigeon, or maybe a toilet. If that doesn't work, imagine yourself as an invincible Thompson gun. Then you won't be afraid to talk to people.